Albuquerque Mayor Tim Keller signed an executive order on Monday aimed at safeguarding immigrant rights amid reports of increased ICE activity. The Rio Grande riverbed in Albuquerque has largely dried up, the result of a record dry winter and legal limitations on water storage. A joint effort between Albuquerque and Bernalillo County, dubbed Operation Bosque Guardian, officially launched last week with the goal to clear homeless encampments and trash from the Rio Grande Bosque. The renewable energy company Navitas Global will receive an $800,000 grant from the New Mexico Economic Development Department to hire staff and revive a dormant ethanol production facility in Portales. And tucked into the southwest corner of the University of New Mexico's main campus are 3 labs where a specific group of advanced mechanical engineering students are spending most of their time in class, on the weekends, and even sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning to build race cars, boats, and even rockets. From the Albuquerque Journal, this is the leading news. I'm Gino Gutierrez. It's Tuesday, July 22nd, and I'll have more on those stories in a few moments, plus a look at Albuquerque's weather forecast on the other side of this break.
This episode is brought to you by the Kirtland Partnership Committee. For 30 years, we've been dedicated to supporting, growing, and preserving the Kirtland National Security Complex. We work tirelessly to enhance military readiness, foster community partnerships, improve quality of life, and promote economic development right here in New Mexico. Join us in our mission to ensure that Kirtland remains a cornerstone of national security and a key provider of quality jobs and investment for all of Greater Albuquerque. Together, we can make a powerful impact. Kirtland Partnership Committee, proudly shaping the future of our national security for 30 years.
Albuquerque Mayor Tim Keller signed an executive order on Monday aimed at safeguarding immigrant rights amid reports of increased ICE activity, both locally and nationwide. The order reaffirms Albuquerque's 2018, quote, immigrant-friendly resolution by introducing new directives, though some critics argue the order offers more symbolism than actual substance. The order expands on existing city policies that limit cooperation with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, except under court order. The new directives include mandatory Freedom of Information Act or FOIA requests by the city attorney to monitor ICE activity in Albuquerque, quote, trauma-informed training for city departments working with children affected by immigration enforcement, which will be coordinated by the city's child well-being officer and the Office of Equity and Inclusion. Enforcement against individuals impersonating ICE agents with a warning of prosecution to the fullest extent. It also provides a mechanism for the public to verify the identity of suspected ICE agents by contacting the Albuquerque Police Department. However, the order also acknowledges that APD cannot legally interfere with ICE operations, a contradiction that raised questions about the enforcement of the order's broader aims. The order's signing, attended by immigration advocates and state lawmakers, was filled with emotion and personal testimony. Community organizer Fabiana Landrios described the daily fear faced by immigrants.
Imagine feeling afraid every time you left your home that you will be disappeared, separated from your children, that nobody will know where you were, or that you could be held in detention center in a country you're not from. This is against our collective values. Today's executive order demonstrates that holding the line is not enough. We must all roll up our sleeves and work tirelessly to protect fellow Burqueños and New Mexicans. Elected officials, immigrant worker-based organizations, state institutions, civil rights and liberty advocates, small business leaders, domestic violence and sexual assault organizations, educators, and Burqueños of conscience. El Centro is in this for the long run. In the upcoming weeks, months, and the years, we will continue to organize for the justice for our New Mexicans and to ensure that Albuquerqueños have the opportunity to thrive. We are one Albuquerque, and we're not alone.
And State Senator Cindy Nava, a DACA recipient, spoke of her own family's hardships, thanking the mayor and advocates for their continued efforts.
As the daughter of a construction worker and of a lady who cleans houses for a living, and now sitting in the state senate, things are surreal. But what we're living right now is a time that is critically important as humans who have a foundation of respect for one another. And I would like to believe that we can do that in the state of New Mexico. I know we're blessed to be in this state. We're in a much better location when we think about everything happening nationally. But when we think of the folks that are being targeted, you're talking about my family. You're talking about our neighbors. I've been undocumented. You don't have to tell me what the feeling is like. And sitting in a chamber where I have the ability to share that story, a story that belongs to so many of you, like it belongs to my parents, I just want to tell you how grateful I feel to have allies like everyone standing here today.
Keller ceremonially used a separate pen for each letter in his signature, distributing them to supporters as a token of appreciation for their advocacy. The timing of the executive order did draw political scrutiny, particularly from mayoral challenger and former U.S. Attorney Alex Ubalez, who had urged the city to strengthen protections for immigrants. His letter to city officials included recommendations, some mirrored in the executive order, such as limiting federal data access and funding legal defense for immigrants. Ubalez criticized Keller's order as superficial, focused on optics rather than concrete change. City Councilor Dan Lewis echoed this criticism, calling the order, quote, political theater. Along with Councilors Renee Grout and Dan Champagne, he plans to introduce an amendment to prevent any future resolution from further restricting cooperation with federal agencies, including ICE. Meanwhile, Keller denied that Ubalez's letter influenced the timing of the order, saying the city had been drafting it since June. He also fired back at his opponent, questioning why these concerns weren't raised when Ubalez previously worked under the Trump administration. Ubalez, although appointed in 2022 by President Biden, was among the U.S. attorneys dismissed during Trump's second term. Ultimately, while the executive order outlines steps to protect immigrant communities and solidifies Albuquerque's stance as a, quote, immigrant-friendly city, its practical impact remains contested. Supporters view it as a necessary affirmation of values and community safety, while critics argue it lacks enforceability and prioritizes optics in an election year. The Rio Grande riverbed in Albuquerque has largely dried up as a result of a record dry winter and legal limitations on water storage. Though it's common for the river to run dry south of the city, it's increasingly happening in the metro area, a trend experts warn could be more frequent due to climate change and shifting weather patterns. The river, primarily fed by mountain snowpack from Colorado and northern New Mexico, saw minimal snowfall from December through April. A May snowstorm helped briefly, but not enough to make up for the season's extreme dryness. Matt DeMaria, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service, said the state is now experiencing greater weather extremes, swinging between very dry, very wet years and very few normal years. Adding to the strain is the Rio Grande Compact, which is a legal agreement that governs how much water New Mexico must send downstream to Texas and Colorado. Because the state currently owes Texas 125,000 acre-feet of water, it's legally barred from storing any Rio Grande water. This restriction limits the state's ability to manage drought conditions effectively. Jason Kasoga, CEO of the Middle Rio Grande Conservancy District, called this a major handicap.
When there's no water in when there's no water in the river and there's not enough water to kind of give water to all of these uses, life's a lot harder. And I think that's what everybody's figuring out. And our tribal partners have said that since time immemorial beginning on this river, right? The river's life. That's why communities developed around here. And I think that's something that we have to wrestle with. We need water to sustain our communities. But a lot of why people live here and enjoy living in this area is because of what the Rio Grande is. The habitat it creates and the history on it of both agriculture and an ecology. And so that's why I think as we develop these drought protocols, I think we have to, those drought protocols have to scale up and down, and we have to have hard conversations about, okay, if we get this level of drought and into compact debt, what are our actions going to be to get us out of it? Because all of our lives are harder when we can't store water.
The state temporarily sustained river flow this summer by using water from the San Juan Chama project, but that supply has now run out. Kasoga emphasized that the drying of the Rio Grande and its impact on communities, agriculture, and ecosystems reflect both climate pressures and water policy constraints. He urges the state to rethink its water infrastructure, focusing more on capturing monsoon rainfall and preventing flood damage. Looking ahead, New Mexico is entering peak monsoon season, which brings hope for rain, but also risks like flash floods, strong winds, and hail. DeMaria cautions outdoor enthusiasts to monitor weather forecasts closely, as the summer storms can become hazardous quickly. In summary, New Mexico faces a water crisis shaped by climate change, legal constraints, and aging infrastructure, with urgent decisions needed on how to adapt for the future. In other headlines from the newsroom, a joint effort between Albuquerque and Bernalillo County, dubbed Operation Burke Guardian, officially launched on Friday to clear homeless encampments and trash from the Rio Grande Bosque and aims to improve safety and reduce wildfire risk following a series of recent fires. The first day of cleanup involved 25 personnel, which was comprised of deputies, firefighters, behavioral health professionals, and city and county workers. They targeted a mile-long stretch along the Duran open space. They found numerous abandoned camps and removed items like tarps, shopping carts, and a burned heater. No individuals were encountered, and while arrests were legally allowed, officials emphasized connecting unhoused individuals with resources over punitive action. The initiative, which used aerial surveillance and phone apps to locate camps, will continue throughout the summer, though patrols will persist year-round to help curb camp reappearances. Navitas Global, which is a renewable energy company, is set to receive a long-dormant ethanol plant in Portales, New Mexico, thanks to an $800,000 grant from the state's Economic Development Department. The funds will help create 31 new jobs at the facility, which will convert dairy byproducts into ethanol and animal feed, aligning with environmental and economic goals under the Local Economic Development Act, or LEDA. The $42 million project will reuse the former Abangoa bioenergy site, which has been idle since 2012 and is expected to be completed by the end of next year. Located next to major dairy operations, including Dairy Farmers of America, the plant will support the local economy with a projected $1.9 million annual payroll. Navita's low water technology will also generate clean water as a byproduct. The company has also received job training funds to support their new employees. And at the University of New Mexico, mechanical engineering students are building electric race cars, solar-powered boats, and rockets as part of rigorous senior design programs that are going far beyond traditional classroom learning. The capstone courses, Lobo Motorsports, Solar Splash, and Lobo Launch, require students to design, build, and compete in international competitions, often working long hours, including weekends and late nights. Students gain hands-on experience with cutting-edge technologies and develop problem-solving, teamwork, and technical skills highly valued in the workforce. Graduates have landed jobs at places like Sandia National Laboratories and have been accepted into graduate programs. Despite budget constraints and costly trial-and-error processes, faculty leaders say these real-world, high-pressure projects prepare students to, quote, hit the ground running in their engineering careers. The leading news is powered by the journalism of the Albuquerque Journal. If you enjoy hearing all of the stories we share with you here daily, please consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Journal by utilizing the discount code in our show notes. Every subscription helps support local journalism and allows us to provide you with the news that matters to you. Now taking a look at Albuquerque's weather forecast. Today, scattered showers and thunderstorms are likely, mainly after 3 p.m., mostly sunny with a high near 92. As for this evening, showers and a possible thunderstorm are likely before midnight, mostly cloudy with a low around 66. To keep up with all the latest news from the Albuquerque Journal, you can visit our website at abqjournal.com. That's the leading news. I'm Gino Gutierrez. We'll be back tomorrow.